So it's September 1970.
Right.
A new school is opening up on Granny White Pike in the middle of equestrian land, farmland. We're standing right in front of the only front door. So Mr. Brown, what's your memory of that very first day?
Part I remember most about the first day of school probably was that we had a guy named Gene Cotton and his wife come and do a devotional for us. And they did the song Bridge Over Troubled Waters. And they talked about the beautiful drive. This is just a guy that's never been to the school, of course. None of us had really on that first day, but he was driving out Granny White and how it looked and how beautiful it was coming out here. And of course, there was not near as much traffic and stuff. It was just a 2-lane road. So we were out in the country pretty much.
This was a hub of a lot of activity. Remember Miss Kennedy sat here?
Yeah, this was actually divided into, there was a big room that went all the way back to there, and then the bookstore was right over there, and my office was in that back part where the window was.
So the first bookstore is not at all like today's bookstore.
No.
We had a few t-shirts and some shorts.
Yes, the main thing it was used for was ordering your lunches.
So we had no dining hall, no food service.
No.
And students every morning would line up,
give their orders, and then the student of the day would go with a teacher down to McDonald's.
But what a creative way.
Yeah, the way it started.
Yeah, and still students look forward to lunchtime, and it all started right then. The truth is so important. It's everything we do. Jesus is the truth. He is the way. And we're using these lockers, these open lockers, as a visible reminder.
Yeah, of the truth, that truth prevail. We had some pretty strict rules in some ways. Like if a student left his algebra book at home, it's very tempting to go borrow somebody's with their name on it. I know who it is. That's a good friend of mine, I'll take it. But we always told them, if you take something without asking ahead of time and getting permission out of somebody's locker, we call that stealing.
And then when we decided to build a middle school like we did with the dens and the house. So we're in the 7th grade house, 7th grade den. In the 7th grade house, we have classes, teachers, and we have a den. And we never dreamed how wonderful this den would be.
Just the relational feeling that you get when you're sitting around in an informal sense, talking. You're not rigid at a desk, and everybody can see each other face to face all the way across, and I love that. Students
hang out here in the mornings. They do their homework together. They meet together on group projects for classes. The 7th grade teacher, the 7th grade grade chair, if he wants to call a meeting, we just come together, just like the old days. How when there was something you needed to tell us, you would just call us together. That still is going on. It's really important as we build community. Mr. Brown, I remember you came in and you said, I'm retiring in 2 years. And I remember we were sort of panicked, like, what do you mean retiring in 2 years? How can we go on without you? And so thus began a lot of prayer and a lot of what's important? What do we want to hold on to? What are our values? What's our mission? What's our vision?
We spent about a year and a half bringing heads that had applied for the position. Bruce Lockerbie, who was handling the search from one end for us, he said there's a guy down in Miami, but you're not going to be able to get him. So that kind of perked us up a little bit. And so we ended up flying down there to meet Kurt. And I can remember when we got on the plane go home, we looked at each other, and that's the one. We can't get him, let's see what happens, and so what God will do.
It felt like God was calling us to be a part of a community, not just for what we could bring, but also for what we could get from this community, for how God would bless us by being a part of this. I look back at that and I see how that shaped what I tell incoming families. If God's calling your kids here, God's calling you here. I appreciate that focus on the value that each person brings and the role that everyone has as a contributor to what God's got going on here.